What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today I am talking about the latest offering from Cytotoxin, BIOGRAPHYTE. This also came out on April 11th, this time on Unique Leader Records, and this is the band's 5th studio full-length overall, and this is my first time checking this band out, so this is apparently a German technical / brutal death metal band. I would say tech death is more accurate. Brutal death, it's only in small increments, as I feel like there's probably a little bit too much melody on this album to fully classify it as brutal death metal. So I think just a tech death album is more or less how I'm describing this. Now, for those of you that know me, know that I am very, very picky when it comes to tech death bands because I want riffs. I don't want just constant wankery on the guitar. While you do get some wankery moments, for the most part, it's kept to a bare minimum, and you do get some more proper, technically challenging riffs. Now, pretty much from top to bottom on this album, it's just filled to the brim with technical guitars, lots of really cool tapping sections, as we kick things off with Hope Terminator, immediately into tapping guitars and even tapping bass, while the drums are just flying all over the place. Pretty much top to bottom with this album, I would almost describe it as this strange hybrid of Cryptopsy, Archspire, Necrophagist, Origin, and maybe even The Faceless. Almost like this weird hodgepodge of all of those bands come together into one sound, which is Cytotoxin. But yeah, it's this song's got Cryptopsy Onslaught with that technical flair of Archspire. Hell, there's even times on this song where it gets borderline prog before you get into really cool breakdowns. I will admit the breakdowns and the grooves on this album do smash when they pop up. Condemnesia, I believe that's how you say it. This one kind of takes a bit of a lesser technical approach in the beginning. It's straight up tremolos, blasts, and bass that almost remind me more of Dying Fetus than anything else, before you get into more tapping guitars, sweet drums, and groove. And this is really where the Necrophagist influence kind of starts to appear in a big way. But nasty tremolo riffs show up towards the end before the breakdown. Now, when I talk about the riffs, it's like I said, there's a lot of technical flair going on, but you do get some really cool tremolo riffs. As far as notable songs that have some of the nastiest tremolos that come after the second track, you get some really particularly nasty ones in Endless Horizon, which that song also, as well as the track before, The Everslave, start to introduce some more atonal guitars and bordering on dissonant guitars. The Everslave starts off with almost a typical tech death song with wild wizardry and blast beats before it slows down to some chugging riffs. And then it's also a little more aggressive, and then you start to get some of those atonal sections. But to go back earlier, behind the mirrored doors, or not mirrored doors, armored doors, you get more angular riffs, just riffs that just seemingly don't make sense, but yet they somehow make it work. And then some dark melodies show up, and this is really when melody starts to pop up here and there, and it's even more melodic as it goes along, even though you do get some chug and even a slam at the end. Then the title track, it's one of the more intense songs on the album. You also get some nice galloping rhythms and just out of control songwriting. But going back to Endless Horizon, yeah, you get more atonal tremolos before you get into almost straight up death metal tremolos before you get some more melody coming in. Now, I haven't talked about the lead work. There's not a whole lot of straight up solos. There's only in a few songs, but when they do show up, they kind of remind me of Steve Vai solos, which are obviously exceptional. But a lot of times you just get a lot of these tapping melodies or lead melodies. But when true blues solos do show up, they're remarkable. Probably my favorite title on the entire album, Bull Overdosed. That's a clever title. Starts off with blasts and taps before you even get some bass taps. Groove, it's straight up tech death, but not in the wankery sense, just more in the complexity. And of course, I would argue this was maybe the most evil sounding song on the album, because there's a couple moments where it gets a little more sinister in the atmosphere. Transition of the Staring Dead. Killer bass line. Like, I gotta say, the bass work on this album, as well as the drums, I'd say the bass and the drums were the MVP on this album. Like, the rhythm section was just disgusting on here. But this song, of course, would bring back some angular riffs. But then the closer, From Bitter Rivers, this is where it starts off with some more dissonant melodies, kind of akin to bands like Ulcerate and Gorguts and Immolation, Demolish, bands along those lines. It's like more dissonant melodies before it grooves very nicely, some atonal tremolos, even a melodic lead section. But yeah, like top to bottom, it's just bonkers all over the place when it comes to song construction and the performances of everybody. And the vocals, for the most part, they were more in like the mid to low range, kind of remind me more of Travis Ryan's mid to low range vocal. So the vocals were pretty good for what this was going for. Now, as far as issues, I do have quite a few issues with this album. First, the two interludes, Dead Zone, Desert, or not Desert, Desert. I'm thinking of Sweets right now. And Revelation, just cut those songs out. They didn't really need to be on here. And then, I would say really in the first half of the album, it really dragged. Like, even though the songs aren't long, they honestly felt longer than they are. And that kind of does hurt this album quite a lot. Because, yeah, like, once it got into the second half, it was a lot easier to get through in terms of, like, it don't drag as much. But the first half, I don't know why, it just felt like the songs went on and on and on when I felt like they could have been cut off about 30 seconds to a minute earlier. Even though they were not long songs, they felt long. It just kind of dragged things down for me. So overall, this is still pretty damn good. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. I did enjoy it for what it was, even though, again, I am super picky with tech death. But this is definitely a tech death album. I could go back and listen to songs. But yeah, this was some pretty solid stuff. So if you're a fan of Archspire, Cryptopsy, Necrophagist, The Faceless, I'd say give this a listen. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, thank you for watching. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.